Shabbat Shalom. One of the very challenging parts of this whole time period we've been in since October 7th is the feeling of being alone as the world turns against us. And we are lucky to have the allies we do, and there are those who are still supporting us. But you look worldwide, and it's atrocious to see the condemnations of Israel and of Zionism that are simply distorting the truth and coming from celebrities, from worldwide figures, and even from governments of countries, entire countries. And the feeling is once again, we're alone. So our parsha this week is the parsha where Jacob finally returns to Canaan. He's been away for 21 years. He fled when his brother Esau was trying to kill him because Jacob had stolen Esau's blessing and inheritance. And Jacob has done well for himself finally. He has a large family, he has many possessions. When he heads home, he sends some messengers. Actually, the name of the parsha is Vayishlach, because it means he sent. He sends messengers to go find out, well, what kind of reception is he going to get when he returns home. But his messengers return and they tell him, your brother is coming to greet you, but with him are 400 armed men. And so Jacob is very frightened. He doesn't know what to do. He splits his whole family into two parts, and he sends one way and he sends the other way, hoping at least half of his family will survive the encounter. And he gives a prayer to God. He says, God, I'm unworthy of all the kindnesses you've given me, but please, God, deliver me from my brother. Don't let this thing happen to me. And it's nighttime, and he knows the next morning Esau will be there. And so he sends his family across the stream, and then the Torah says, finally, Jacob is left all alone. And Jacob all alone is attacked, accosted by a man who turns out to be an angel. Because Jacob is not really all alone. And they wrestle all night long, and in the morning the angel gives him a blessing and a new name, Israel, that gives him a new strength, a new spiritual realization. And he goes and he meets Esau, and from where he is, Esau doesn't kill him but embraces him. And in fact, this is the message of the Torah in so many different places, that we think we are alone, but we are not really alone. And there is divine life that we can't even imagine at all times there to help us amidst it all. And this is the view actually of the rabbis, of the very messengers that give the parsha its name, Vayishlach. Rashi says these weren't messengers, these were divine beings, as angels as he calls them, not flesh and blood messengers. And they were there to watch over Jacob and to help him to navigate this very difficult time in his life. And this moment. And just as 21 years earlier, when he was heading away from his brother's house, he saw angels going up and down the ladder. As we know, the Jacob's ladder is his famous dream. And one of the commentators said, well, what is actually the symbolism of that dream of seeing angels going up and down a ladder? And the answer is to tell Jacob, you think you're in a dark forest and nobody's here with you, but even here, if you only had the eyes to see it, you would see angels going up and down ladder, a great web of life, connecting all, giving a blessing and giving inspiration to those who are looking in that direction. It may be invisible to you, but it's always there at all times, going up and down from heaven, carrying out the divine will. And just as in next week's parsha, when we turn again the generations, and Joseph is heading to his brothers and is lost and can't find them, and he also meets an Ish, a man, who we are told by the commentators was an angel who points him in the right direction to his brothers, to his destiny. And so sometimes it feels like we're living in a very big and dark and worrying world where we're all alone. And there is much to be worried about and frightened about too. Our tradition's message through all of these stories is that there is so much that we cannot see. There's a purpose and a meaning that's there, and it will be there, God willing, evidently, at a certain point, but even as it remains hidden. And there are dark forces in the world, but there are also much greater, more powerful divine messengers in all places and times, going up and down to heaven, trying to help those who are doing good to understand themselves better, to be better vehicles for the good, to find strength themselves to face the evil within and without, and to do good in our world. And that's something that's very easy to forget. We tend to forget that truth, especially when the whole world feels closed down. We just react to our fellow human beings. But we too should feel comforted that as Yaakov, that we Israel are never really alone. And if we do everything that we do with dedicated heart, minds, and souls, we believe there is a beautiful web of light, of divine messengers and agents there to comfort, to heal, to give strength, to inspire, and to bring the eternal will down into our broken reality. Shabbat Shalom.